All right, we are talking about order of operations this week. This should be a little bit of a review. I know that you talked about this very similar situations in third grade. I know you touched on it a little bit in fourth grade. We're going to really dive into the order of operations. Now, the order of operations just tells us what order are we supposed to solve these expressions. So that means if I were to look at this expression, 3 times 2 plus 4, I want to make sure that I want to do a correct order. Otherwise, I could do it in any way and get different answers. For example, if I did 3 times 2 first, because it came first, 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. That's just if I did it left to right like I read it. Or if I did 2 plus 4, which is 8. I'm sorry, which is 6. And then 3 times 6, which is 18. I'm going to get two different answers. So for mathematical purposes, there has been a sort of a way that we complete our orders, our operations in a specific order. And the way that we are able to go ahead and solve that is by using what I call PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. PEMDAS. It's the way that we know how to complete those order of operations and the way that everyone can do it, so we have a uniform way to do it. Now, each of these letters obviously mean some sort of mathematical term. Let's talk about our first term, parentheses. Parentheses are these two circular brackets. Sometimes you'll see a bracket that looks like that or a bracket that looks like that. All of that means is that we've grouped those expressions together. So if I have 3 times 2 plus 4, and I have parentheses here, I know that my expression 2 plus 4 is grouped together, and that means that we need to go ahead and solve this first because parentheses came first in my little trick PEMDAS. I'm going to go ahead and solve that parentheses first. 2 plus 4 comes first. My next order operation is exponents. You're not going to see exponents in your 5th grade lessons. You're just not going to see them. But I want to review what exponents are. Exponents are those little numbers that go above those larger numbers, and we use them when we talk about powers of 10. So we call this 10 to the second power. That just means that we multiply this number that many times. So 10 to the second power means we're multiplying 10 times 10. You are not going to see your exponents in this, but I wanted you to be aware when you get to middle school that after you solve your parentheses, you're going to look for exponents next. The next thing you're going to solve is multiplication or division. Now I say or because sometimes in your expressions, you're going to have a different order. We call multiplication and division married. Remember how we talked about how they're inverse operations, that they have a relationship with one another. The reason that we solve them together is because of that relationship. So, for example, even though multiply comes before divide, in this expression, the multiplication symbol came first. So in this expression, I would multiply 6 times 3 first and then divide. In this expression, division came first. So I'm going to divide that before I multiply it. Whenever you see multiplication and division in the same expression, you're going to go ahead and solve whatever comes first from left to right, just like we read. So multiplication and division are married. That's the first operation you're going to do after your parentheses. Then you're going to see addition and subtraction. Addition and subtraction are also, we call, married. Again, that means they have that relationship with one another. So it doesn't matter what order that they are in, as long as it goes left to right. But you are going to multiply or divide, and then you're going to add or subtract. So looking at this example, my addition symbol becomes before my subtraction symbol. So I'm going to go ahead and add that first. In my second expression, my subtraction symbol comes before my addition symbol. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract that first because it's in that order. But I can only do that between addition and subtraction, just like I can only do that between multiplication and division. So really, your order of operations is going to go parentheses first, then multiply or divide, and add or subtract. We're going to go ahead and do a couple of examples. And then in my next video, you're going to see, we're going to dive really into that topic. So let's go ahead and look at some examples. And I want to go ahead and write on the top of my paper, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, because that's going to remind me what I'm doing first, second, third, all of that. And I'm going to go ahead and put those arrows between multiplication and division and addition and subtraction because I know that they're married and it depends on what order they are in the expression. Let's look at this first one. My first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and do my parentheses first. But I have brackets and parentheses. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and do the parentheses that are inside. So 7 times 2 is going to give me 14. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring the rest of my expression down here because I haven't solved that yet. I still have parentheses, so I'm going to continue in those brackets. 14 minus 3 is going to give me 11. Now I have 11 plus 8 divided by 2 times 3. Now, I've solved my parentheses. There's no more parentheses left. I don't see any exponents, so I'm going to go ahead and go to multiplication and division. Well, I have a division symbol, an addition symbol, then a division, then a multiplication symbol. But I know that I'm looking to either multiply or divide before I add or subtract. So I'm going to go ahead and divide first because it came first in my expression after my addition. Remember, addition and subtraction come last. So 8 divided by 2 is going to give me 4. I'm going to go ahead and bring down my expression. So then I have 11 plus 4 times 3. Again, I want to go with my order, and I'm still have a multiplication symbol in there. That comes before I add or subtract. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply 4 times 3, and that's going to give me 12. So now I have 11 plus 12. I have nothing else to do except to add. So, and that comes last in my order. 11 plus 12 is going to give me 23. And the answer to my expression is going to be 23. If you have any questions, please make sure that you continue watching. There's 2 more videos to go ahead and watch after this. We will go over some more examples and then we'll go over some word problems that you're going to see.